Alright, what's up everybody? It's your boy Akeem and welcome to today's vlog. Here to give you a preview of week 3 of the 2015 college football season. Now last week I went 6-7, which made me 19-10 overall, and I'm looking to bounce back with my picks this week. Now I'm going to start off with Thursday night's matchup between Louisville hosting number 11 Clemson. Now the Tigers are on fire to start off the season, while Louisville has struggled, but they did show some spark in their week 1 matchup against Auburn. This could be an upset big. It really divides. The deciding factor is the offensive line for the Cardinals. They're definitely going to have to step it up and protecting that line of scrimmage and trying to drive the ball down to the field. But I think this should be a good win for Clemson and ACC matchup. Next up, undefeated Air Force is facing number 4 undefeated Michigan State. Now Spartans had a great 31-28 victory over then number 7 Oregon, and that was a great win. And they had to play against a tough ground attack from this Air Force Falcon team. This could be a pretty interesting matchup, but I definitely had the Michigan Spartan defense stopping the run in this matchup, remaining undefeated. Next up, another undefeated team in the Big Ten, Northwestern, traveling to Duke to face the Blue Devils. Now there is actually a lot of ACC Big Ten showdowns this upcoming weekend. Now I have to go with Northwestern in this one. They had a great win at home against Stanford, and they actually had a shutout win against Eastern Illinois. But this could be an upset bid too, because Duke has been doing pretty good so far this season, staying undefeated, but the level of competition was not the same in my opinion than Northwestern. So I'm going to have to go with the Wildcats over the Blue Devils. Next up, American Conference team Memphis, undefeated this year, is playing against Bowling Green. This is going to be a good matchup between a good balanced team both sides of the field for Memphis and a great offense from Bowling Green, and they are hosting in this matchup. But I'm still going to go with the Falcons in this one as a little bit of an upset for Memphis. Memphis is a good team and a respectable team, but I think they're going to have their first L this season against Bowling Green. Next up, another Big Ten ACC matchup between Nebraska and Miami. And for the past couple of years, we've been seeing good matchups between these two teams. I'm going to have to go with the Hurricanes in this one. Brad Kai has been starting off the season off pretty well, while Nebraska has struggled a little bit defensively, but this is a good respected team as well. But I have to go with the Hurricanes over the Cornhuskers. Next up, a game who was a nominee of Game of the Week, as number 8 Notre Dame is going to be hosting number 14 Georgia Tech. Now Malik Zaire is no longer available this season due to a broken ankle, but so that means Deshaun Kaiser is going to step it up at quarterback, and he did hold that game-winning pass against UVA this past weekend. That was a close victory over the Cavaliers. Now Georgia Tech has a great ground attack, and they've been doing well under Coach Johnson. Paul Johnson doing a great job running the football with this Yellow Jack high explosive rushing attack. Now for Notre Dame, they do have a tough defense, and I think they're going to do good enough to slow down a run against the Yellow Jackets, and especially with the game at home, the home field advantage, that crowd's definitely going to get involved in that matchup. I'm going to have to go with the Fighting Irish over the Yellow Jackets in this matchup. Next up, number 13 LSU hosting number 18 Auburn. Now the Tigers have been playing a little bit horrifically to start off the season, and quarterback Jeremy Johnson is going to have to build some confidence for the next upcoming games, and they're playing against a tough LSU team who actually had a great victory over Mississippi State to avenge last season's loss. Look out for Leonard Fournette to have another 100-yard ground rushing game against the Auburn Tigers. Next up, Western Kentucky is traveling to Indiana to face the Hoosiers. This is a good matchup for you guys to watch, because both teams did start off the season so far undefeated, and Western Kentucky does have a great quarterback in Brad Drotty, this high explosive offense that the Hilltoppers have. I think this could be a good victory over Indiana. Like I said, they're undefeated as well. Next up, an SEC East showdown between UGA hosting South Carolina. South Carolina had their first loss of the season last week against Kentucky. It's only a week. That was only week 2, but they lost to Kentucky, which was a tough loss, 26-22 in that close matchup. But UGA is going to be way too much with Nick Chubb, a good Heisman candidate, come towards the end of the season. Next up, Arkansas is going to be hosting Texas Tech. Quarterback Brandon Allen had a good game last week against the Toledo Rockets. He passed for 412 yards, but he had no touchdown passes. They actually had a struggle getting into the end zone, but they did get to the red zone a couple of times, talking about the Cornhuskers. but they had a close loss against Toledo last week. And Texas Tech, they do have a great offense, and they do a good job with Patrick Holmes leading the way at quarterback. 8 touchdown passes and just 1 pick in just 2 games so far this season. This is a good spread offense, but I think that the Razorbacks will definitely wake up this upcoming week because Texas Tech struggles defensively, and I think with Alex Collins and running the football effectively, that would definitely help out the offense. For Arkansas, I'm going to have to go with the Razorbacks over the Red Raiders. Next up, another SEC matchup between Florida at Kentucky. I'm going to have to go with the Gators in this one. They're looking to redeem that close victory last week against East Carolina with an impressive win over Kentucky. Next up, my Texas Longhorns is going to be hosting the Cal Bears. Now, this was a nominee for my upset game of the week, but I definitely want Texas to win. But as an analyst, looking at how the offense of Jared Goff and the Golden Bear offense has been doing so far this season, and Jared Goff is a great prospect for the 2016 NFL Draft. This is going to be a tough matchup. Now, freshman quarterback Jared Hurd had to step it up last week at the helm at quarterback over a good win over Rice, but he is just a freshman, and it's going to be too much pressure on him, and I think this is going to be a struggle in this matchup, and I think the defense is still trying to make a name in themselves, trying to identify themselves. For my Longhorns, I think they're going to struggle in this matchup, even though it's at home. But as an analyst, I have to go with Cal over Texas in that matchup. Next up, had to be, just being honest. Next up, number 6, USC is going to be hosting Stanford. Now, this can be an upset bid. Stanford definitely had a win last week. They started off the season with a loss, but then they had an impressive 31-7 victory last week. And this could be a good upset bid, but I'm going to have to go with USC. They have too much speed and talent on both sides of the field. I'm going to go with the Trojans in this one. Another upset bid, as number 19 BYU is going to be traveling to UCLA to face the number 10 Bruins. Freshman quarterback Josh Rosen is starting off the season well. He's shown a lot of maturity as a freshman, showing good poise in the pocket and confidence as well. And he does have an impressive running back behind him in Paul Perkins and his leading target in Jordan Payton. I think this is going to be a close matchup, but I'm going to have to go with the Bruins over the Cougars in this one. I think their luck is just going to run out for the Cougars. They did have a good win last week against Boise State and in that Hail Mary pass against Nebraska, but I think they're going to lose this week in the third matchup. And lastly, the game of the week between number 2 Alabama against number 15 Ole Miss. Now, I'm just going to break it down to you straight up. This is all going to depend on who can stop the run in this matchup. This is going to be a tough matchup because this is a good SEC West Division game, and last season Alabama lost at Ole Miss, and they're looking to avenge that loss. And Ole Miss already knows that Alabama has a great running back in Derrick Henry. They're looking to stop the run. Same for Alabama. So it's going to boil down to the X factors, or at quarterback, Chad Kelly of Ole Miss and Jay Coker of Alabama. Now, this is going to be my upset game of the week. I'm going to have to go with the Rebels over the Crimson Tide in this one. The reason why, I think that Robert Kindig, is very versatile, strong. His versatility is going to be great enough to slow down Derrick Henry, at least in this matchup, and not help him make it to the end zone. I think the defense, the Russian defense from Ole Miss, is going to do a good job stopping the run and putting more pressure on Jay Coker at quarterback for the Crimson Tide. And Chad Kelly has been performing much better than Coker, in my opinion, thus far this season, and I think that he will definitely be the X factor for Ole Miss in this matchup, and I think he could definitely possibly get a touchdown pass in this game. This is going to be a good defensive showdown between these two teams, but I think that Ole Miss ground defense is going to do much better than Alabama in that line of scrimmage, so I'm going to have to go with Ole Miss as my upset game of the week over number 2 Alabama. Now, the next time to catch you guys will be on Tuesday, where I will give you a recap of week 3. Thank you for watching this blog. I'm your man, Keenan McCall. Be easy.